here on this Sunday. Hope your day is going great. And yeah, welcome to the Sunday Reset. That's what this is all about. Sunday Reset is basically, let me get situated here. The Sunday Reset is just getting ready for the week. Like if you have any questions as an intuitive guide, I just bring clarity. I don't have any oracle, any tools, any tarot cards, any dowsing rods. I'm just, you ask the questions, you place them here, and we bring clarity. That's it. Clarity is what it's about. I actually have a list, a list of things that today I kind of wanted to really talk about, you know, depending on if you've got questions. If you've got questions, bring them. I'll add them in, just pop them in here while we're going. But what I wanted to talk about, like you'll see if you go on Instagram, TikTok, I don't know, other platforms, there's a lot of practitioners and there's a lot of great people out there. I can't name them all. There's, people that are out there doing things, helping people, providing guidance, mirroring, support, as mediums, as psychics, as empaths, as a whole host of things. There's many different modalities. And what I've noticed over the years, one thing that I like to do, both for myself and for my clients, and is what rarely people talk about is spiritual hygiene, right? So if you think about it, you take a shower, hopefully, right? Okay, smelling good, we're clean. But when it comes to doing energy work, what's really important, not only for the practitioner, but for the client as well, is, hygiene. Like, what are your thoughts? What are your sort of expectations? Where are you, where are you at with your thoughts and what you're planning on doing or what are you expecting, right? Because a lot of times what I tell people is clients, when you come into a session, what's good is number one, to have a clear intention, something that not that you're seeking an ultimate outcome, but that you just, don't have expectations. To me, in a sense, expectations are limitations because it's like a contraction of energy. You walk into something, but um, you know, uh, one of the things I like to say, like I'm just reading my notes, is literally audit your inputs. Where are you at when you come into a session? A lot of times people go to a practitioner, whether it's a medium, someone, and they're in a rush. They have a need. They're desperate. It's a relationship. It's a money. It's a job. It's the typical things that people usually find. But what people don't consider is the hygiene, especially for the practitioner. Like one thing I do often, I do some energy work. Number one, I just got back from the beach. I go out in nature. I get grounded, right? I get focused in my fields, my energy. And if I have something that's going on with myself, if I have a session with a client, I will cancel it or I will rebook it because I am of no service to somebody else if I'm not in a grounded, sacred space myself. I think a lot of times I've seen practitioners that get on, they're like, they're on TikTok, they're like, yeah, let's line them up. Put your credit card down. Let's get going. It's like, where's the hygiene, bro? Where's the discipline? You know? Um, and I think that's important. So if you're someone new, if you're looking, if you're seeking some sort of guidance, whether through divination, through a psychic, through a medium, through tarot, whatever it is, I think it's important to sort of do a checkup from the neck up and downward the other way too, vertically, right? We want to be connected, grounded, focused, and, have the clearest possible conduit to connect. For me, I'm not a channeler, nor do I endorse channeling at all. And that is both conscious, trance, conscious, and out of body. And I used to go to channeling seminars years ago. I saw Bashar, got 20 years ago when he first started coming out. That's great for some people. If you want to connect and channel, you want to connect with you vertically. And believe me, there's a lot more to you than just the 3D physiological, biological you that's right here, right now, right? And it's important to bridge that gap and to open that space of grace where, you have the information and the energy that is you on an expanded level. A lot of times we call it higher self. Through my journey, my spiritual practice, I've done, and I continue to. It's always an evolving process, right? We never really arrive. It's the journey. And so spiritual hygiene is of paramount importance because a lot of times people's fields get blended. This may not make sense to you depending on where you are in your journey. If you're new to any type of spiritual development or growth, or you're just beginning to dabble, right? You're getting your feet wet. A lot of things there are to consider. There's a lot of people that will definitely that have don't have your best interest at heart. Um, they're in it for nefarious reasons. For myself, what I love, it's a natural thing, and I think I can speak for probably a lot of other psychics and mediums that they've had this skill set. It can be learned. One foundational thing is that everybody is telepathic. Um, we all have it. It's an innate. It's just like breathing. We all have it. It's just for most people, it's underdeveloped or not developed at all based on your culture, your belief system, the way you grew up. There's many factors involved with it, but at the very basis of it, hygiene is key. Energy is key. Grounding is key. So if you have any questions, you guys, if anybody out there, if you guys have any questions, drop them in the queue here or let me know. And also in the description below, I do have a school community, and if you want to join that, there's some questions there. We dive deeper. I'm still developing that, but if you want to join, click the link in the description. Um, I think I posted it there. And if you want to book a session, there's information all about that in the description below. Please like, subscribe, share, press all the buttons, do all the things if you feel this is of value to you, or if not, to someone you may know that may, vibe with the tribe here. I think that's important to get the message out. Because there are a lot of people right now that are struggling. They're having a difficult time. They're trying to get answers, and I always say we're getting bombarded with so much information, right? Information and, you know, not a lot of experience. There's like, I got all this info here. What do I do with it all? How do I disseminate this information? How do I break this down? And what I like to do with people I say an intuitive medium. So my abilities get activated based on the interaction that I have with a specific person, which is what I love. It's not very staccato, it's not static, right? Um, and it's based on what's appropriate. For mediums, a lot of times what happens, there's a thing that it's a term that I use, it's called footprinting. And footprinting is when it's like you leave your front door open, right, in your house, and I just start to investigate and go look around. So what I do is, my intention when I come into a session with someone is to first wait for an invite, because I throw in human design into this as a projector. Invitations are sort of like I equate it to like Beetlejuice. You say that three times, ta-da, I show up. But not always, right? Just because I get an invitation doesn't mean I accept it. But it's got to be a win-win for both myself and for you, right? We want to make sure we do the sort of dance delicately yet diligently, and make it matter, right? Um, because it's important. It's important to you. It's important to, those that are seeking clarity and direction. And that's what I tend to do. Is I look at the spaces in between and the things unseen. And something could be right in front of your face, literally, and you may not see it. And so through just the back and forth that we have, that's what this is all about. Clarity Cafe is about getting clarity, getting clear. So if there's a project you're working on, something you've just been perplexed about, you have no real direction, idea, you've been sitting with it, you've been contemplating with it hasn't happened for you yet, um, you have expectations, you know, bring it here, open it up, open up the space, share it. And that's where we dive in, right? And I can bring a little clarity. And then if you want to go deeper than that, then you can book a session and we go real deep. And I work with people, on a hourly basis, on a monthly basis. It just depends on where you're at and what you're looking to accomplish or bring into your hologram, into reality, right? So back to the hygiene process. What I like to say, set an intention, not an agenda. Like I want to do this, I want to go here, I want to meet this person, I want to have this job, this amount of money, blah 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 blah. Because the one thing that's always constant is change. Okay. And based on any given point in time in the day, in your week, I don't like to say week, during your time, right? Because week can be interpreted as WEAK or WEEK. Either way, it sounds pretty weak. So let's make it strong, right? Let's make it where you're on point. You are excited, you're motivated, you've turned a corner, you're recalibrating, you're rebalancing, and that's really what this is about, right? That's what the Clarity Cafe is about. And anything that I talk about that comes up, that there may be a document or PDF, I upload that in my school community. And in order to access that, if you join and you're in, you get access to that for free. Um, Other than that, any other links or related information, I usually drop in the description of the video on the replay, so you can check that out. But yeah, set your intention, not agenda. There is intention is basically openness. You're open to receiving new intel, new data, something, excuse me, something that maybe you've not considered. You're looking at it from a different perspective or a different way. Um, and I don't know about you, but like, whoops, sorry if I bang that my microphone. You hear things 100 times, 50 times from one person or several people, and then finally somebody says something or does something, or you see it on a TV or side of a truck or wherever, and all of a sudden it connects, right? Mm. We have those aha moments, and it just hits, and I get that a lot. Not a lot, but pretty frequently. And my wife will say things to me or something like that, and I brush it off sometimes, not purposely, but just because I've heard it before. But then I'll come back a day, a week, or a friend will say something, or for whatever reason, I have a block or a filter up, right? For some kind of survival reason or defensive reason, because I don't have my own clarity. And then I hear it again, and then all of a sudden it just it locks in. You lock in. It just, wow, I heard this so many times. I feel like an idiot because I didn't I didn't take action on this before. But in the world of like human design as a projector, I've learned so far that I don't make decisions, and I'm talking like big decisions, not like what am I going to eat, what socks am I going to color socks, or clothes am I going to wear. It's just like big decisions. I don't do things when I'm really up or really down. I try to find that middle line where it's like, and then I'm good. Okay, so maybe that's for you as well. And if you want information on human design, I'll lock that in here too. I'll put the link up for human design because I think it's really important. It's not the be all end all, but it is an interesting tool to help with, just how to operate in the matrix. Okay. And you can dovetail it with other practices and other things that you do, so, or that you're interested or into. It's a great way to decondition yourself. I kind of equate it to when Neo gets unplugged from the matrix, right? And all of a sudden, this world around you, you're like, whoa, what the fuck? Right? Not what you thought it was. Right? So now you're at kind of ground zero. You're really seeing things for what they are. And then you can really direct your energy and your time and your resources to best suit you. And that's what I like to do. I like to help ground you, refocus. I'm not doing it for you. We're doing it co-creatively together, right? We're recalibrating, rebalancing, realigning, redefining, okay? And then aligning. And that's simply where the shifts happen. I have a saying, it doesn't take much. It takes what it takes. And when you have what it takes, it doesn't take much. In simple terms, less is more, right? And I think most of us, I know for myself, we, try, as Yoda used to say, try, you do not try, try, you do, or something like that. You either can or you can't, or you will or you won't. There's really no gray area. And a lot of times it's all that mental masturbation. The mind is playing games. Anyway, back to the hygiene part of this this live stream. So we're talking about hygiene. If you're just hygiene. If hygiene, if you're just tuning in, and your name's Gene, hi. But seriously, so set an intention on agenda. Intention, as I said, is openness. Agenda is you've already decided what you want to hear, right? So that's what I was saying. Don't have expectations or an agenda because, okay, there's a way that things flow, there's a way that information flows, okay? And for everybody, for all types of practitioners, mediums, psychics, I can't speak for everyone. I know for myself, like I was working with someone the other day. It's usually I'm working with someone pretty much every day in one way or another. And he was going through a pretty rough time with a breakup, with a girlfriend, and we just got into talking, and all of a sudden, things just start popping in, right? I'm putting out the message quietly, like, "Hey, I I'm open to reflect back," and then I get different pieces, and a lot of times those pieces they are necessary. They're missing pieces of a puzzle, and a lot of times when you're on the other side, when you are the person that's going through the breakup or, whatever the scenario, the situation is, you're not really clear. You're not, because emotions are involved, feelings are involved, and those usually dampen or they blur the understanding of what's going on behind the scenes. And a lot of times, we are creating this, we are creating these scenarios, these situations, these, um, interactions that we have with people, places, even music, things you hear at certain times. If you tune in, if you step back, micro to macro, and you look, everything is connected. Everything has a piece that's trying to reveal something to you. And I will also touch upon intuition, how your intuition works. Okay. Intuition supersedes the ego for the most part. Depending on how you operate, some people see, hear, feel, they're kinesthetic. Intuition will communicate with you in various ways. And one of those ways is that, like, I'll get a message, or for me, I get like a hear feel, like I'll hear it not audibly, like someone going, "Hey, go talk to that person." That's not like that. It's just like I just get this nudge, like I'll hear it, but not audibly. And you know, if I question it, that's ego because it's trying to protect me. It's like if you do something spontaneously, because number one, the intuition will pull you out of your comfort zone. And two things I will always, there's a disclaimer here. Your intuition will never ask you to harm yourself or anybody else. It will never put you in danger. It'll challenge you. It'll challenge you to get out of your comfort zone. It'll ask you to do something maybe when you're tired and you just don't want to do something, but there's something on the other end of it. And you may not get the response to what that is in that exact moment. It may not show up for, who knows, an hour, a week, a day, right? But if you pay attention, if you journal, if you keep a log of things on your phone and your notes or your audio, your voice records something, if you do that, you'll begin to see a pattern. There's something that's you'll begin to get evidence of what's happening. One of the things that I like to do, sidebar to all of this, it's another topic, is we've heard about affirmations, right? You either hear someone else like, "I love myself, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I have blah, blah, blah," whatever, you pick the affirmation. But there's also something called ask formations. I don't know who started it, but I think it's a really genius idea. And affirmations are like, why is it that I'm so healthy? Why is it that I'm so happy? Why is it that this thing is healed so quickly? Why is it that my hair is growing back? Why is it that I found the perfect house, right? And I'm connecting with it. So what it's doing is it's triggering the RAS, the reticular activating system, which basically is saying your mind is trying to show you proof that this thing exists, because your mind has no idea between fact and fiction. It's just, oh, let me show you this. I remember the book, I can't remember the name of it. Um, it escapes me at the moment. Basically, it was about a blue feather, you know. Um, if you know the book, you know the book. Basically, it's the story of like a blue feather, and all of a sudden you go outside, or you're on a bus, in a car, somewhere at a restaurant, on the ground, somewhere, someone walks by with a blue feather in their hat, right? That's the reticular activating system, RAS. I know John Assaraf wrote about it. A lot of other authors have written about it. You know, these are some unique neurological capabilities and abilities that we have when we tune in with them and we activate them. Again, a topic for another day, but I just wanted to drop that in there. So setting attention. Also, you know your baseline. That's another thing. Like, what I mean by that is, do you meditation, grounding, humming, breath work? What is your baseline to get you into a space of grace, of where you can, share what's really going on without being in, you know, without being in sympathetic mode where you're in fight or flight. You want to be in sort of parasympathetic where you're in rest and digest. You can reflect, you can exchange, you can communicate coherently, not in a chaotic manner where you are really in touch with what it is that's going on. And you'll be amazed, like with myself, I find if I just ask the questions, the person has the answer, has the response, has their own. I'm just reflecting, mirroring back. You're activating your own intuition. I'm not doing it for you. I'm not fixing, I'm not healing. I'm just reflecting. Whether it's through the sound of my voice, it's through, the words, the humor, whatever I'm trying to do to allow you the space to really pick up on what it is you're challenged with, or you feel that you're challenged with, or you think that you're challenged with. Because that's the thing, the mind gets so compounded with, I can't do this. Oh, I've been trying this. I've been in this relationship. I've had this job. I can't seem to, yeah, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Mental masturbation, just all these stories. So we want to break through that. And that's what I do with you. Yeah. Okay. So you know your baseline, you know, so if you don't have that, if you don't have breath work, something you do before session, something that really helps to ground you, then that leaves you open and vulnerable. Okay, because now we're just kind of like meandering, and I've had clients like that before. They come with a story. Everybody has a story. Okay, and the story is, this happened to me. This is what I feel right now. This is the result. I've been doing this forever and ever and ever. Nobody can help me. So it's not that nobody can help you, it's just that there's a contraction of energy, right? Because your mind has given you the results and told you that there's nothing else there. Well, who says that's true? Who's the judge and jury? The judge and jury is locked in here, right? So there's no validity, there's no truth to that. You are creating that truth, which sets that limitation, which causes you all the pain and inflammation. So if you want to get off the pain train and get on the no stress express, book your call, okay? And I will guide you, and we'll make it fun, right? And inspiring and enlightening and all that kind of stuff. So if there's any questions you guys have regarding the topic here, which the topic is basically spiritual hygiene for yourself and for a practitioner, whether it's me or somebody else that you're working with currently, or you feel like you want to work with, that's what my message is here today, right now, is to inspire you to, you know, to, you know what? I want to make sure. Okay, cool. That I'm in horizontal. I'm doing this on my phone, so I'm not on my desktop. I want to make sure when this video comes out that it's not like tweaked the other way. I think I have it set for, yeah, super, right? Yeah. Lighting on. Okay, cool. Anyway, back to where we're at. So, and one thing that I think is really important is when you get together with a practitioner, with a, right? Why? What's the ultimate reason? Why are you setting the appointment? What is it? Are you at your wit's end? Do you feel you don't have the answers, the time, the energy? Just I'm not saying there's not a reason to not. I'm just saying kind of have a basic understanding of why you're doing it, because that'll also give you clarity. When you are able to understand, like, okay, I'm going to call this person, I'm going to book a session with Josh because I've seen that Josh has these clients that seem to have these not unbearable or unmistakable issues that no one else has been able to help them with, and he somehow is able to like pry things open and do that, right? I have what are called trustimonials, just a handful of them. And those are clients that I've worked with from all over the world. And they're sharing their experience, their, the experience that they had in that session or sessions, plural. Because sometimes it's not instant, right? It's not like a quick fix. It's not like, and I think a lot of times people nowadays, especially with the way social media is and technology and AI, it's like I need a quick fix. I need something. I need to plug my brain into some device and reprogram me, my subconscious. And for me, I'm a little bit, I have some presumptions and assumptions about that, meaning that, a lot of people go on and they'll use YouTube as for the, what are the sound, the 528, the 428, the 5 or 420, 432, 528, all the frequency hertz and the and I, Solfeggio frequencies. And unless I know the person that's doing it, because there can be other things that are embedded in those frequencies that may not be of, the best interest for you. So I'm very careful with that. When it comes to energy work and people that do those types of things, I ask a lot of questions, and you should too. I'm always telling people, like, don't believe a word I say. Ask me all the questions you want, right? Because that's going to provide you with. It's going to paint a picture. You're going to have a better understanding of me, how I operate, um, and the clarity. And that's Clarity Cafe. That's what we're here for. Clarity Cafe. Every Sunday at 7 Eastern, I'm here for you and other people that are here. And the cool thing is, too, that I want to mention is when you come into the room and you ask questions, there's people sitting here lurking, right? I get it. They're watching. Who is this guy? What's he about? But if you ask a question or you bring up something, what's great is that there may be someone that has the exact same issue or something very close. And now that person no longer feels isolated or separate or alone. So that's where your question, your comment, as long as it's constructive, you're not trolling here to, because we're here to expand and break things open and, bring in some awareness and healing for that matter. So that's always really beneficial, and I invite you to do that. So if you do have questions, comments, please let them, even if it's on the replay, right? Come back. I check the comments periodically, and I do respond. It may take me, a couple days, a day, depending on what I'm up to, but I will respond to the comment or the question. Um, so again, what we're talking about is hygiene, spiritual hygiene, not only for the client, but also for the practitioner as well. It's very important. And there are a lot of things that people do that I think they sometimes feel that they work, but not always. People say, well, I put white light around me. Well, my knowledge and my experience is white light is dead light. It's not living light. People will say I use Christ consciousness. Well, what is that? That can be described in a multitude of ways, depending on this culture is people have many different practices and protocols and rituals and altars and things that they do. Some people pray to deities, and I'm all about you connecting to you vertically as source. Okay, I will distinguish that you are first eternal creation, God source, unutterable one. You are a spark of that source, stardust, if you will. Okay, we all are. Everything is energy, and energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's perpetual and eternal and just changes form. How about that? Right? And we're all here to learn and grow and expand and support one another. That's why I'm here for you. And I can learn from you as well. I don't know everything. I don't claim to know everything. I think if I did know everything, well, why would I be here? It's like that's sort of like that's the sort of mental gymnastics. That's what we do. The neurology, we expand, we grow, and sharing is caring. Like by me sharing, and if you learn something here or something you get from that, and you go and you share it with somebody else, it has a ripple effect. And that ripple effect is not just local in this dimensional reality, it's cosmic. It's out in the ethers, right? So that's where my broadcast is, baby. It's out there in the ethers. So that's where I'm putting it out there. All right. So the last question is not last, but ask yourself why you're coming. Fear, grief, validation seeking. A lot of people are out there looking for validation. And I'm not judging that. I'm just saying I went through that too, right? Trusting myself. And I think a lot of validating, especially for projectors, kind of jumping back to human design. I noticed that as a kid. I would feel something, sense something, and I would offer my unsolicited opinion. Well, guess where that got me? Right? In this ear, out the other. So for projectors, we need invitations. We need to be recognized and seen that, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about, this girl, this woman, lady. We have something to share, but we just don't give it away. Gatekeeping it's not that it's gatekeeping, it's just that it's energy, it's time, and we are non-energy types. So um, our time and energy is very valuable, and those that we choose to share it with and offer it to, hopefully those recipients receive it with gratitude, appreciation. They use it. You use it or you lose it, but don't abuse it. And that's really, I think, what it's about. A lot of people, I did that a lot. I gave a lot of information away, wanted to offer, because I'm in the health and wellness sector, right? So it's, yes, as an intuitive medium, pick up on things, but I've also affiliated myself with various products and practitioners over close to 30 years. And I use, if I don't have the physical product, I've vetted it and I promote it based on the data and the information and the interactions that I've had with the owners, producers, growers, you name it. I do what I can to validate something that I promote or I advocate for. Okay. And sometimes you'll see the links. I'll throw the links on here if I'm relating a product, or if you have a question about a specific health or wellness product or a protocol and you're unsure of it, drop the question here. Drop it. I'll give you my response. You can take it or leave it, right? You're not required to believe anything. Right? And just remember, believing something is something you had to be a belief is something you had to be convinced of. Okay? But when you know something, you don't need to be convinced. You know it. You frickin' know it. In your heart of hearts, it's in your body. Okay? So 7, ask yourself why you're coming. Grief, seeking genuine guidance. Are you seeking genuine guidance? We all have mentors. I have mentors, and mentors are not just people you pay and you hire them. Mentors can be the homeless person on the street, the kid you talk to, the just someone random can be a mentor. Someone that provides you something, some guidance, says something to you, provides an awareness that wasn't previously there, that challenges your current belief system, right? Something you've been convinced of. And a lot of us, myself included, I'm a, boomer, Gen Xers, Gen Zers, all of that, we've all been programmed at some level. And so right now in the human design world, it's all about deconditioning. It takes 7 years roughly of deconditioning. Um, and that is super important because that's where we clear all the bullshit that we've been exposed to, the indoctrination, the education, the insinuation, the insidious books and false history and science that's been fed to us for God knows how long. And we see even more of it now with social media and AI, and that's what just confuses the crap out of people. So it's really about getting grounded, getting focused, and going from there to literally lock into your true north. That's really where the shifts and the changes can happen. And man, when they do, wow, you're like a new person. You've got new energy. You've got new direction, new focus, new destinations to you know aim towards, to head towards, and that's fun. That's what I get up out of bed for, man. I mean, I look forward to sharing with you and revealing things that I've come across, that I've discovered, and that bring joy to me. And I want to spread that energy and that frequency and share it with you. So if you're watching this video a week, a day, a year, 20 years from now on YouTube, I'm like, what's this guy talking about? 20 years ago, we don't have that stuff now, right? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe there's robots, there's those, cars, who knows, man? Maybe we've got hydrogen cars. We're not using electric or petroleum based, all that bullshit. Why decimate the earth, right? No, we can use other things. We can have co-creative endeavors and not sort of waste things and have reverence. 20 years from now, who knows? There'll be people are talking about how they're communicating with trees and bees and the seas and the ether and the aether and because right now I'm seeing this wave of that happening. There's waves of people now that are activating. Whoops, sorry, I keep tapping my mic here. Activating their telekinesis, biokinesis, aerokinesis, um, abilities. I'm practicing that, getting back into that. Um, that's our nature. That's who we are. We're explorers. We're adventurers. We want to uncover, discover, and discard that which no longer serves us, I think, for the most part. And hey, if you're digging this, hit a like button. If you're following, if you have a question, let me know. Drop the questions below, right? Um, and don't forget to subscribe. Sharing is caring. Forward this on to anybody else. Press all those buttons. Let people know. And also, one other thing I want to bring up too is, your physical state matters when you work with a practitioner hygienically, right? When you're coming to someone, if you've got a fever, a flu, you're on certain medications or things like that, there could be questions related to that, but I think it's good to be in the most clearest space so that you can receive the most aligned information in that time, right? That you have with your practitioner. Um, you know, hydration, sleep, your physical body is the instrument. You are the bioelectric conductor of the cosmos. Your body is that. You're the transmitter and you are the receiver. Okay. And so you want to make sure that your physiology, your biology, it's not my saying, but your body is the only place you, meaning your soul, spirit, have to live in. It's your container. So do the best to take care of it. I, for one, do what I can. I am not perfect, but I've let go of a lot of garbage over the years, decades, you know, getting plenty of AM sunlight, going for a walk, getting exercise, having clean water, right? Spring, whatever, just anything that's not municipal garbage, take care of yourself, right? From that point forward, those little things, they add up, they accumulate, and they help, they support you on your journey of how you feel, your feelings, your emotions, your way to determine things, to use critical thinking, right? So sleep, hydration, a depleted instrument gives a degraded signal, and that's what this is about. If you are loaded with sugar and garbage and crap and stuff like that, then to receive and transmit information is just not, you're blocking it. You're not really getting that information. You're not really getting um, all of the correct information, or you're not, it's filtered, it's blocked. So it's important, right, to do that, to have the clarity, to receive the information you are destined to receive. So you want to have the right fluids, the right foods, the right allotted amount in nature, sunlight, exercise, community, connection. Those are the things that are really going to make a huge difference. I think I had, did someone have a comment here? Let me know if you got a comment. All right. So yeah, so that's that. And the practitioner is a mirror, you know, not a magic wand, just a mirror for you. That's what I'm here to do, to be a mirror, to reflect back, to share, and to tune in what I'm picking up. And then it's up to you to determine, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. If something does not make sense, does not feel right, then there's no reason to continue, right? If you are not in alignment with the practitioner for whatever reason, but you really have to understand what's being stated, what's said. Sometimes I've had clients in the past, many years ago. I was doing some work where I kept getting something very, very hard. I was getting a very strong signal, and I was conveying it. I was like, should I share this with this person? Because that's the other thing as a practitioner. It's not that it's about gatekeeping or withholding information. It is the ability to discern whether this person can receive this information. Are they okay with receiving the information? Are they in the right state of receivership to handle that information appropriately? Okay. And some people aren't. And I delivered something because I was relatively new in this life of delivering information. I was like an elephant in a china shop, just here's the information, freak people out. And I shared something, and this woman just started yelling at me, goes, I've been working on this shit for 20 years. How dare you? But it was her ego that was getting all blown out of shape. It wasn't her. I later figured that out. I was discerning, like, was that actually her? Or who was that got all angry and upset? So it's a very fine line for practitioners too, right? So there's got to be sort of a meeting level of how to. Let me just see here. I thought I had a comment. Let me just check. All right. Yeah, I don't see any messages. All right, no big deal. Beep. So if you've got messages, questions, drop them below, whether here in the live or in the replay later. Let me know. I will answer you. I'll get back to you. If there's something, you know, health and wellness wise outside of the topic that's been discussed, drop it below. Let me know. Okay. So yeah, not to mention what comes through reflects what you're ready to receive. That's basically what it is. That's what comes through based on everything else that I just talked about. And I'm actually going to have this document that I just kind of put together real quick. I'm going to put that as I think I can put it up as a document. I'll link it in here because I think it's important, in the description. And but if you have any questions, we're at about 43 minutes. If there's anyone there, if you're lurking, if you want to check in, drop a like, let me know what's happening. Love to hear from you. Indeed. I hope it's a beautiful day or evening where you are at, where you are located around this beautiful planet of ours, with all of the games and dramas and traumas that are being played out. It is my intention that you are safe, healthy, happy, and grounded, um, and loved and cared for. And I just want to send that vibe your way, right? From me to you. Um, because yeah, it's important time. It's important time for all of us to come together to seek connection, community, yeah, and have fun. That's what we're here to do, man, is have fun. We're not here to, suffer. Um, and what else can I say? That's what this is all about. Today's session of the Clarity Cafe going into the following days, right? Coming up here. It's like That's what it's about. It's literally about, think about that next time you are working with someone. It's all about the hygiene. And I know there's not enough practitioners to talk about it. They just get on and they set up shop and they're like, all right, I got my tarot cards. Let me look into things. But there's things that could be interference going on. And even for the practitioner, that's where a humbled, really knowledgeable practitioner comes into play. They're aware of things that are going on multidimensionally. They are doing things that where they can take care of themselves and their space, right? Not a lot of them, I don't see a lot of them doing that. I don't see a lot of practitioners that are really or maybe they do, but they don't show it before they get on camera, right? They're like, okay, here's my tarot cards. I'm gonna tell you your future, your relationships, your money, your business, blah 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 blah. And it's like, for me, number one is hygiene, spiritual, energetic hygiene. Numero uno. You gotta have that. Gotta have that clear space, focus, grounded. Like I said, when I come in here, whether I'm working doing the live with you or I am working with a client, it's always that, like, I check in with someone before we do work. I want to see where they're at. Um, if they're not in a really good space, then we postpone, right? Because that's going to benefit both of us. Because I don't want to waste any of my energy, and the client doesn't want to waste their energy, and they need to be focused on what the issue or the challenge is that they want to uncover or unpack. So, and that's super super important. So with that, unless anybody's got any questions, I'm going to bow out for now. But next week, I'll be back here at 7. We may do this more often. Um, and what else? I think that's it for now. But like I said, share this, like it, subscribe if you haven't checked out the other videos. There's some other interesting videos I've got on here, I believe, that may be of interest to you. Um, and if you'd like to book a session, the link is in the description below. Other than that, man, fly low, avoid the radar, keep on shining and smiling, and I will catch you on the flippy floppy next Sunday on the Clarity Cafe. Right? Right. Let's see. Oh, how do I don't know. I can't end this. Oh, it's still going. All right. Ciao for now, guys. Cheers. Yeah.